Hi, my name is Ariel from the Children of Karma, and today I'd like to discuss Sun and Uranus aspects. The Sun is about our purpose, our reason for being. All of the planets revolve around the Sun. So when it's tied to Uranus, that means our purpose, our career, our identity. It's unique, it's different, it stands out. And sometimes there can be a pride in being unique and standing out, and sometimes it can make you feel alienated. You deal with a lot of criticism when you're different and even very vocal about it. You need to be different, you need to stand out. It can sometimes be an energy where you're always contradicting everything, that you're trying to find flaws and everything. It's the scientist mind, you're trying to disprove the hypothesis in any way that you can, just to make sure that what you have is the truth. This is the scientist mind. This is someone who's searching for structure, for meaning within the structure. The structure has to have higher wisdom attached to it. Uranus is about revelations, and sometimes this aspect can feel those revelations just so strongly and can be driven by some divine purpose. Before we know how we want to stand out and how we want to present ourselves, we can kind of be like a little bit of a wild energy, just untamed. If you also happen to be born between 1988 and 1996, then you also have this tied to Neptune as well in the sign of Capricorn. So these are the structures of our society, and with this Uranus Neptune, you're meant to transform them, to shift, to dissolve and create chaos, but to replace with a structure that has more compassion, that considers the collective and what we need. This energy is the free thinker, the person who thinks differently, that wants to create the change. And a lot of people are not comfortable with change. So you may deal with a lot of criticism, a lot of backlash, and that's to be expected with this aspect. Uranus is very ambiguous, very androgynous, and doesn't tie itself to gender, because gender puts itself into a box and Uranus wants to be free. And I think seeing that there is both of those energies within, in that community, I see just embracing both energies, and being able to embrace it in front of judgment and criticism, and being able to be self anyway. It's very, very empowering. They show how to love self, in all the broken parts. Being tied to the collective, they're teaching a lesson to the collective to accept self. All parts of self, can be loved, can be beautiful too, and can be celebrated. This aspect can even be tied to unique careers. I think about, there are some of these videos, the ASMR, the slime videos. I don't even know if I would say it was slime or Play-Doh or something. I think this somehow ties to that Pluto in Scorpio, even the need to destroy, and the sounds that you hear when there are videos where they're crushing dry soap, they're molding the slime, blending certain elements into the slime, and the noises that it makes. It's so relaxing. Sometimes it can feel like a lot of the content is guiding you into a certain mindset, into a certain belief. And sometimes I can get into this space where I just don't want to be moved by anybody. I just want to be at peace and just restore, relax. And some of these videos, the sounds, the visuals, it relaxes you in a way where you're not being guided, manipulated somehow. You can just really be at peace. So these kind of careers are very unique, but they help massively. I mean, I could watch those videos and just go to sleep, and it just relaxes me. And the visuals, it's just very unique, very different, very much out there. It's not the usual career, but it really helps. And I think how amazing for you to just step out of the box and do something so odd, but believe in it so much that you're consistent with it. The consistency is also that Uranus energy. Being consistent with it and putting it out there, just because you know that it's meant to move the collective, that it serves a higher purpose. Even though it may look odd to some people, I really appreciate that, because there are little things like that have helped me through recovery and chronic pain, and some of the worst of the pain. You can just really zone out and relax, get yourself back to center with some of these videos. So I think how amazing that you really invested in self. The sun is also tied to the father. So this can mean that the father had these Uranus traits as well. So he could have been unique, that he stood out from the rest of society. Maybe he had also an odd career. Maybe he left the family or left the home. Sometimes this Uranus energy can, it wants to free itself from the obligations of parenthood. So you may see something like that within the father as well. But because of that energy and being raised by that energy, you now become somebody who wants independence as well, and is a free thinker and someone who stands out, maybe even standing out from the family traditions, the family beliefs as well, moving past that. So it's like they raised a similar energy in you. The father could have even had an odd schedule, a really different work schedule. He could push you away, in that effort to kind of escape from the responsibility or to detach from that obligation of parenthood. This aspect is really meant to be a different type of authority, moving differently. You're not going to have a guide, to tell you what to do. You're going to have to pave your own way. And, sometimes Uranus comes around wanting us to be different, and we tell Uranus, hey, I'm trying to fit in over here, okay? And Uranus can act out with health issues, even put you so far out of, that group thing or where that group is, that you can't even find your way back, So if you refuse the call of Uranus may come back with a health issue to make you see. It's that revelatory information, and sometimes those revelations, it's like they come through the entire body, the entire being. I feel there's some special connection even through the health issues, that they're warning you of something or communicating with you. Now is the time to pull back. Now is the time to take care of self, or now is the time to put yourself out there. This aspect can feel connected to the collective, but also feel like you're speaking to them from behind a wall or a veil of some sort, that there's always going to be this different energy between you and others. Just remember that revolutionary energy of Sun Uranus. It's meant to think a little differently. These revolutionaries, the people that change society and move society, they're meant to think differently. They're not meant to be thinking like everyone else. Thank you for joining me for this video, and I'd love to see you at thechildrenofkarma.com so we can find ancestral patterns, go over synastry, natal, transits, even career and purpose as well. So I'd love to see you there, and don't forget to like the video. Bye.